The story of I love you, Mum, I promise I won't die. Where to begin? Well, I'll begin at the beginning. I hadn't heard about anything to do with this until suddenly on the 3rd of May 2014 at 21:20, I was sent an email. I don't know when I opened it. Very soon after that, I replied, and the email said, and here it is in full: Dear Mark, in January of this year, we lost one of our students as a result of taking MDMA. He was an amazing actor and just a fantastic young man. His loss has been devastating. I'm writing to you on behalf of his amazing parents. You may have seen Dan's stories in the press. I hadn't. There has been a lot of coverage, and his parents have done interviews on radio and TV to try and save other young lives. I am in awe of their strength and bravery. Bear in mind this had happened in January of this year, so only 5 months previously. So this was very soon that I was being approached. Tim and Fiona have set up the Daniel Spargo Mabbs Foundation to try to prevent other deaths. Part of their website says, Dan's death was a tragedy that need not have happened. He thought he'd be safe trying a tiny amount of drugs just once. But Dan wasn't safe. No one's safe. Dan's story isn't unique. But if we can save just one more tragedy like this, if we can prevent another family going through the pain of losing a child, Dan's death will have more meaning. And this is the drama teacher speaking again. I've taught your plays to my students several times, with most recently your updated Legal Weapon. Hooray! Legal Weapon 2. And am a great admirer of your work. So when Tim and Fiona were talking about the idea of using drama to promote their message, I immediately thought of you, discussed it with them, and they asked me to contact you. Dan was such an original, compassionate and just hilarious young man. He was hugely popular with his friends, beloved for his humour, often very saucy, and his loyalty. I think that one of your plays would be an amazing tool to spread the message, and just a great work. I really hope you'll consider this idea, and I look forward very much to hearing from you. With best wishes, Izzy Forrester. Now, drugs is interesting because I have very strong views on drugs. It's something I've never ever tried. It's something I think as someone with a slightly addictive personality, I think getting onto step 1 of that rung of the ladder would make me think, oh, I wonder what's on step 2 and so on. So it's something I've never done, and I felt very strongly about. I've met young people who have done. I've seen some of the consequences of it, or nothing on this scale. And when I was a teenager, I'd watched a film called Gail is Dead, shown at school. And one of those films that really kind of warned me about drugs and made me think this is something I shall never do. And it had a massive impact on me, to the extent that when people say, oh, what do you think of shock tactics and whether Too Much Punch for Judy does that? I say, no, Gail is Dead had this enormous impact on me. And this was a subject I really, really wanted to do a play on. I hadn't before because Danny had written gagging for it, Danny Surrock, and I felt it would be stepping on his toes. But having had this approach, I was really, really keen. And I got straight back to Izzy and said, yes, I'd love to be involved. And it was all arranged. And in the next few weeks, I believe, I was travelling up to Croydon from Southampton to meet with Dan and Dan's mum and Dan's dad and Dan's brother and indeed his friends. And the idea of writing a verbatim play, I wanted it to be very much like the Dan Nolan play. I wanted it to be in their words, because their words are the ones that count. And I don't want any of this, oh, they changed this because of for dramatic license. No, why? I want to make it real. So I would use their words. And I didn't look at anything other than, I think, this one newspaper article in the Daily Mail with that title. And I just thought, this title, I Love You, Mum, I Promise I Won't Die, yes, it's a long title, but that is what I think it should be. So I went, I think, on that day, suggesting that's what I might do. There's lovely Dan and his wonderful mum Fiona, who has been, she's a personal friend now, the family are friends of ours. But in those days, I didn't know her, she didn't know me. We had a conversation on the phone, I can remember that. And I just felt there's some sort of rapport here. So that was really nice to talk to them and make friends with them. I went up, I did an interview with her and her husband Tim and Jacob and Dan's girlfriend and her mum and brother came to that just to sit and listen to the interview, and they got involved in the interview. So that's why you'll find in the play that that the mum, his girlfriend, is involved as well. And Hope came along because she wasn't able to be there at the meeting when the friends were there the next week. And again, that's why Hope is in a scene with Dan's mum, because she was there in his house on that day doing that interview. And Jenna, Archie was going to be, Jenna, Dan's girlfriend, was interviewed, and Archie was a friend of Dan's as well, so he wanted to do an interview as well. But the three of them were there, and it was lovely because we got interaction between all of them, which was a wonderful thing to be able to write that part of the play so easily with all the interaction. So I did all their interviews that day. And did some of Tim and Fiona's that day, knowing that the following week I went up to Croydon again, met with the friends of Dan in the church in the morning, interviewed a lot of them, all of them, in small groups, and wow, how eloquent they all were in telling me this story, something they all believed in passionately and were prepared to talk about so openly. Went back to Fiona's house with Izzy, the drama teacher, and I can remember I'd heard things in the morning that were news to the whole kind of ongoing exploration of this subject. One of the big things was that the young people volunteered that he had taken drugs once before. And so I can remember sitting there chatting to Jacob, Dan's brother, and Fiona in the back being told, in the kitchen, being told by Izzy this news that I'd discovered before. So it was all very, very, very heart-wrenching, and they all spoke so openly, and I left thinking, whoa, what an opportunity for an incredible play. How sad that my youth theatre can't do it, because his school wanted to do it. And then a little while later, the drama teacher and I kind of together said, this is going to be too close to home for your school to do. And I think we were just finishing, I was coming to the end of doing the play. The young people also had expressed some doubt about the ability of a drama to do it. They felt a book could do it. They felt a film could do it, a professional film. But they were really concerned about their school doing it and younger people in the school doing the story. And I said, well, to put a bit of distance between it, my youth theatre, just coming to the end of a project, which was the Chicken Project, which ended at a really weird time. So normally we do projects that begin in September and finish in March or July. And weirdly, because we were going to Hong Kong in October, we were going to start a new project. I haven't got a clue what to do in November. So it all timed perfectly. And so the decision was made that OYT should do the premiere performances of I Love You Mum. What an opportunity, what a gift for us as a play, what a challenge, and how nice for me to be able to offer this to one of my groups in what I knew was going to be my last year of teaching, because I was planning to retire. So an amazing, amazing opportunity. I can't thank Izzy enough for getting in touch with me. And Fiona and Tim and all the friends for trusting me with their words, and I know that those friends initially weren't all on board with the idea of a play. I think they've been. I think they've bought it now.